The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. At this time, we ask that you please rise. If you are able, remove your caps as we honor America with the national anthem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another week of Racing at Aqueduct. Thursday afternoon of live racing, 9 races on today's card. The track is fast. Here are today's early scratches and changes. Race 1 is the start of the early pick 5. Rider change on the 2. Make it Manny Franco. Corrected weight is 115. Race 2 is the start of the early pick 4. Scratch the 1, X-Top. Scratch the 3, Debo. Scratch the 1 and the 3 in race 2. Race 3 is the start of the middle pick 4. No changes in today's third. Race 4, start of the pick 6. Scratch the 4, Flashy Alex. Scratch the 4 in race 4. Race 5 is the start of the late pick 5. No changes in today's fifth. Race 6, start of the late pick 4, scratch the 3, Lord Brownie. Scratch the 3 in race 6. Race 7, rider change on the 6, make it Andre Worry. Scratch the 7, Blake B. Scratch the 7 in race 7. Race 8, scratch the 2, Yogi. Scratch the 6, Big Tony's Girl. Scratch the 2 and the 6 in race 8. Race 9, scratch the 1, Bobo's Boy. Scratch the 4, Connect the Brox. Scratch the 6, 2 chuckles. Scratch the 1, 4, and 6 in race 9. Those are today's early scratches and changes. The track is fast. Coming up next, we'll be talking horses with your hosts, Andy Serling and the Big A, Anthony Stabile. Good luck.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling, Anthony Stabile. As we start another week here at Aqueduct, and gotten warm out. It's in the 50s. Feels like the worst of winter, and we never got any snow anyway. It sort of looks like it's behind us.
Yeah, hopefully. Supposed to be in the 40s or 50s the next like 10, 12 days.
Yeah,
The long
those
forecast.
2 cancellations
Yeah.
last week. We're the only ones all winter. But anyway, lots to talk about, and we're a little bit late, so we'll get to work. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match $200 of your initial deposit. We've got a middle pick 4 that starts in race number 4, I think, today. Is it 4? No, 3.
3 today.
3, right. Okay, so pick 4s in races 2, 3, and 6. And 10 times points Dubai Racing tomorrow morning. Use that through Naira Bets, and also Belmont Stakes tickets. They went on sale today. So head over to BelmontStakes.com and get your tickets for the Belmont Stakes. Going to be a great weekend. We moved some of the grade 1s to Friday, actually, so it's a sort of 2 or 3 days where you want to be there, and always a fun weekend of racing. We kick off the action today's first race and take a look at Warrior Richard and Stormandy running a distant second and third behind Scoot Scoot. You've got Warrior Richard on top.
Yeah, after 3 consecutive bumped starts, see if he can get away from there cleanly today. He actually was a little bit more, I thought, attentive at the break with the blinkers on last time out. And maybe if he can finally get away without being hampered at the break, maybe that can make it graduation day today. I don't know. I know Will Be Famous, his last effort, his last figure anyway, puts him right in the winner's circle if that figure is to be believed after a series of ho-hum numbers.
Okay, why don't we talk about these horses? I want to talk
it
about
was
the
Warrior Richard was a little bit better with the blinkers last time and got beat on the front end by Scoot Scoot.
It was a big speed track that day, so I'm not sure if it flattered these horses, but I think it did. I think you saw a merry-go-round race in there, and I just wondered. They're okay. I didn't really like them. I actually think Uncle Dan might be a little more interesting in this race, dropping down New Gelding in here. But I like Will Be Famous, who just ran into a horse that ran off his feet. First-time starter for Rui Rodriguez that ran exceptionally well that day, and I just thought he was the better horse.
Manny Franco, by the way, bit of a late change onto Will Be Famous.
Oh, that's a great switch. I was just about to say.
I think it didn't happen when we got our scratches, but Chris just announced it, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, that's a huge switch because that rider has had no success in limited mounts since coming here, and Manny coming on that horse, I think he's much the horse to beat in here. See what happens in race number 1. Debo, I think, was the morning line favorite, scratched out or co-favorite. No,
He was 5-2.
winning
co-favorite
drive.
with Zerts. Co-second choice, yeah.
Winning Drive is favored. Okay. Oh, you've got Winning Drive on top. Go ahead.
I do. This was a process of attrition pick. He has not been in the best form. His last 2 races, which is separated by a 2-month layoff, haven't been great. I don't know. I was never this horse's biggest fan. He has not won in an awfully long time, but I kind of feel like, especially now with Debo out, there's not much to beat in here. And he's a reluctant pick. I would never bet him as the favorite. He will be the favorite. But I just couldn't find any. I think he'll be the favorite, especially with Debo out now. I think Debo was the only other place you could bet. I mean, Zertz's last race it's kind of hard to bet Zertz off the last race, isn't it?
No. In fact, that's the whole thing about it. It's very easy to bet him off his last race.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was a big inside Gold Rail, of course, in the track trends. And Gold Rails like that will exaggerate performances in 2 ways. It'll make horses on the front end look better, and one of the reasons they look better is, horses on the rail, I should say, is because the horse on the outside are sort of mired in a deeper part of the racetrack. So I think Zertz's effort was just a complete function of the racetrack that day. And you go back to his races 2 and 3 back, and he's supposed to win. Amir Shishakli has sort of miraculously turned things around over the last 2 to 3 months, and her horses have generally been running extremely well. It just seems like a very logical horse. I didn't put him on top. I figured he'd be the favorite in here along. I didn't really like Winning Drive. I suppose he could win. I guess I scratched him number 3rd. But I was more interested in Zertz. But I just took Icy Storm on top because he'd be a better price in here. Antonio Arriaga has a lot of success off the claim. I like the cutback. I'm not sure why they were going 1 1/8 with him in those kind of spots. He was in impossible spots. I know that was a 12-5, but Winter Pool's better than these horses. So I put him on top. I'm 4s and 5s in here. I didn't want anybody else.
Okay.
Anyone else?
No, I don't think so.
All right, race number 3. Race number 3. It's a funny race, right? Because you've got Big Bean Christine, who ran this big figure last time. Where did it come from? Is she just a new horse? Was it off the claim? Is she going to run back to it? I don't know what to make of that race.
It was kind of weird because 3 back, it was kind of like, where did that race come from? And then, no.
Last race was a real improvement.
It was,
over any
but
race
I kind of feel like that's how I felt 3
that was a
back.
maiden. That was a maiden 25.
But then she substantiated it with the next effort, and then last race it was kind of like, well, again, and then Can't Hurry Love came back and ran well on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, she's just very, very logical to me in here. And this is another one. To me, this was kind of a function of Diamond Collector was a little disappointing last time.
Well, Diamond Collector runs the races she runs every time. She runs similar figs, low 60s, high 50s. She is who she is. And she's had her chance to win. And she hasn't gotten it done when she was supposed to. I'm not going to take Big Bean Christine as the favorite and just assume that she's a new horse. But she obviously can win, and I put her second here. I like Preposterous. We'll take a look at Preposterous's last race, which she ran against significantly better horses than these. And I think she ran as well as anybody in here. The horse who was 4th was Shadalamo, who would obviously fit in this field as well. And this was a big speed track. And she was hampered by the fact that she tried to close into it. And Shinful and Backed by Gold ran 1-2 around the racetrack. Backed by Gold came back and improved her buyer figure 10 points with a win the next time she ran. Feels like a strong race. Feels like she ran well against the bias in here. And I just thought she was dropping down against a much, much weaker field than she had met in any of her recent races. I just think she's run against much better horses, and I think Linda found a very good spot for her.
It's a great spot because she gets the drop and she's still protected and not in for the tag.
Anybody else interest you in here?
Cupid's Girl always runs, the other one knows mid to high 60s, and she'll probably get a piece if
3 straight seconds, 5 seconds, and 13 starts with a win. That kind of bothered me a little bit, but I agree. She's been in pretty good form, but she's also been favored in races and failed to get it
ran into
done.
the Jamie Ness Express last time. Nobody was being Glosity that
Yeah, but she was sort of second by default because there was nobody else in that field. And so while I agree, obviously she lost to a horse that, on a day that a trainer who's had horses move up considerably during his, when he's not suspended, she just ran her eyeballs out, as Velocity did, and as did the 111 buyer horse, which is Repo Rocks. Race number 4 kicks off the pick 6. I don't think it's a carryover, right?
I don't believe so.
So race number 4, what'd you do here?
I went to Outlaw Country. I thought this horse made a lot of sense here. Take out forget about the horse's first race against the restricted maidens. I don't think this horse wants anything to do with a mile. And the 7 might be a stretch, but the horse got the job done going the 6.5. The one race on a fast track going 6.5, the horse got the job done. It wasn't the toughest field of maidens he's ever going to face, but I mean, I think he gets he's not facing the toughest straight 3.32s he's ever going to face either. I think he gets a good set-off right off of the 1 Lars. I don't know, first time Lasix for Charlie. Dylan Davis comes back aboard. I
thought he was the reason you want to bet the race. I saw it very differently than you. I think he's a takeout remover. That 57 buyer sticks out like a sore thumb. 6.5 furlong figures, which we talk about quite frequently, are kind of the figures that are most likely to be aberrant numbers one way or another. If you look at the horses in there, that number doesn't hold up to scrutiny. 3 hit the wire together in there. They're not very good horses. And I think he's more of a 40-ish buyer type horse than he is a high 50s, and it just makes him a 20-to-1 shot in this race. If I'm wrong, I'll lose. I thought it was mostly a 2-horse race in here between the 2 horses that I think are favored in here, Lars and Raw Dancer, or ROI Dancer, or Raw Dancer.
It's an L.
Oh, it is an L. Roll Dancer, Roll Again Dancer. There you go. Thank you. We'll take a look at Lars winning the maiden first time out. And granted, this was a bad field. I'm not in any way suggesting it was, but last time he ends up chasing Joey Freshwater, who he's not the favorite in the stake on Saturday. It's going to be close. He's pretty good. And that horses are just so much better. I don't think he ran that badly in his second start based on his first start. And I thought his first start was good enough to win this race. He's supposed to be the speed with Vargas, gets Lasix. I just thought he was super logical in this race. And this is his debut win. And as far as Roll Again Dancer, he also met just better horses last time out. Switches to Michelle Nevin. Jimmy Riccio has these horses. I mean, he's run some decent races. I thought he was the logical other horse. I wanted the 1 and 6. I didn't want anybody else. I just thought in their better races, they're better than anybody in here. So
Okay.
I saw it.
I thought Mashindi was a little interesting. Just dropping in from the State Bred Stakes ranks in for a tag. It's Lasix.
I got her third. Him third.
Thought he was a little interesting.
He's never done any running. He's running his better horses, but he's never done any running. Even in his winning race, he'd have to improve a great deal, but I just don't disagree. He has run against some better horses. He's sort of a semi-new face to this group. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5. An interesting maiden race coming out. And listen, Lifetime of Chance will show the last race is the horse to beat. And it's not as though, he did hang a little bit to Quick Chaos in here, but Quick Chaos is a horse that had a right to improve for Jorge Abreu. So I don't think it was a bad effort. He ran a better buyer. I don't love those horses. I actually kind of like the cutback with him, but he's just sort of running out of chances for me, and I didn't feel like putting him on top.
Yeah, I didn't either. I feel exactly the same way. He's obviously the horse to beat in here, but I'm sick of him's the wrong way to put it, but like you, he's going to be even money, and I'll take one swing against him.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty short. Who'd you take here?
I went to the Todd Pletcher returnee, Miracle Mike.
All right, we'll show his debut race, and you can talk about him.
He ran behind Andiamo a Firenze, passed a few horses late in the game, and then he came back with an effort that I feel is like too bad to believe. Probably had some minor 2-year-old issue, shins or whatever, disappears for 6 months, and now he comes back as a state bred. He's not going to be down in Florida. He's going to be here with Byron Hughes in the winter. I don't know. He's just a logical returnee in the state bred ranks for Todd.
Yeah, I don't like this horse. It was a gold rail, this race, so I think his performance significantly dressed up. I think if you look at the horses out of that race, it's a very questionable field. Even Andiamo Firenze never really built on that effort. And I think it's a bit of a dubious race that got a figure that's probably a little high. No, guys, go back. It's the next race. Could you put that stat back up, please? I'd like to talk about this stat. I think it's an important stat. Todd Pletcher's numbers. What happened?
There it is.
Okay. Thanks. Todd Pletcher's numbers when he comes back in these kind of maidens off these layoffs are not great. And they're not good anywhere you look, which kind of bothered me a little bit. They're not good in Ira, they're not good out of town. And Todd Pletcher wins, especially with maidens. This horse did come out of his last race with a problem. I have a friend who owns a piece of this horse, and he said this horse did come out of the last race with a problem in there, and obviously he did because he's been out for 7 months since that race. I don't know. It's funny because he was entered at a... Was he entered in a mile? Was this race a mile when they first ran it? I feel a little confused. Regardless, he can win. I think there's a lot of interesting horses here. I think that Pop Coyer is very interesting. This horse got bet first time. For Rick Schosberg against Donegal Surges, and there was somebody else that took money in that race as well. And that was a quick pace that completely incinerated. So this horse was near the pace, incinerated. David Duggan's been doing very well with the limited horse he has. He took over these Rick horses. They're mostly running. Gelding for this race gets Lasix. Thought this was very interesting. And I also think that Radio Red is interesting in here. I want to give him another chance. He was wide last time. That was a day that you really wanted to be on the rail here. He still ran a 51 buyer with a wide against the trip, a much better race. And these horses you had mentioned, because he took money in his debut behind Arctic Arrogance. He didn't get bet at all last time,
No.
but I bet he runs better in here. So while I think the 5's the one to beat, I think both the 2 and 4 are very interesting long shots, and we saw it differently. I'm against the 3.
Last day of the bug for Jose Gomez today.
Oh, all right. Well, we wish him good luck here and going forward. Interesting, because Torres is sort of the only bug ride. Well, he and Matty Alver. They'll get some.
Jason Weyes.
Oh, Jason Weyes. I like Jason Weyes. I think he's the class of that group. That's the first 5. We'll be back to the late pick 4.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We're back. Dave Grenig just texted me. Gomez's last day with the bug is Saturday, actually. So thanks to Dave Grenig for that piece of
Sure,
information.
because of the 2 cancellations.
They're drawing Sunday today, so he'll be in mounts on Sunday without the bug. Race number 6 coming back. I mean, the question in race number 6, the horse that you and I don't particularly like this horse, is Vive Bien. And I see that David made the horse, I think, the favorite morning line. And I'm sure David's thinking, I don't know. This is the kind of horse that could be a big price in here and could be favored. This race will show from Gulfstream, the 86 buyer, the first 2 races. I mean, this horse ran second to Money Supply, came back and legitimized that figure and looked like he was going to be a good one. And it's just absolutely fallen apart. Now goes to Gary Siaka from Safi Joseph. I wouldn't bet this horse in a million years, but somewhere in there's a horse that'll lap this field.
Right. Where is he? It was a year ago, almost a year ago, 11 months ago. I put him 4th. I didn't know what to do with him, dropping off the proverbial cliff. Yeah, I mean, if he could, this is the one where he could beat them on memory, but he might have amnesia.
It's a little
He's
tough
way
to-
he's been running.
It's a little tough to take in here.
He's a tough horse to take.
You took the logical horse, and I think Jet Speed will be favored in here. I was a little worried about the Bug Rider, who has had no success here, but he's only had limited starters. You took him on top, Jet Speed.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to be a horse. Figures to be forward in a race where, other than Naked and Famous,
Well, isn't Vive Bien supposed to go?
do we know if Vive Bien can run anymore?
No, but he has the rail and aggressive rider.
I
so
guess.
You would think he would be forward in here.
mean,
He has
I-
entered
yeah.
the race.
I mean, this was, yeah, I guess.
I'm not convinced he'll be in front either, but he has a lot of speed if he can. He's been at some pretty fast paces, this horse.
I took the logical horse, who I think will be forward in a race that doesn't really have. I took the speeds 1-2, and I just put them kind of in reverse order. I figured Naked and Famous will get in front, and Bug Boy will just be sitting off him. One of the 2 horses that'll be forward.
Yeah, I didn't. You got Naked and Famous second. I didn't get him at all.
Well, I mean, I think there's a real chance that Naked and Famous could just get in front of these horses and keep going, and that might be enough against this.
I don't
bunch.
think there's any chance he can get in front of these horses and keep going. But
You don't think he's the?
No, I don't think he's the speed. I don't care if he's the speed. I think he's awful.
You don't think you wouldn't care? You wouldn't want the outright speed
He
in this
won.
bunch?
He won about as. No, I want horses. I'm not. You believe that horses, you say they get in front or they inherit the lead and that makes them winners. I don't look at racing that way. We look at racing
It is a
completely
pretty
differently.
bad bunch of horses.
Well, I disagree with you about this horse. I think he has limited ability. I thought he was in a horrifically bad race last time. He was, believe me, I'm extremely happy he held on to win, but I don't like this horse, but maybe I'll be wrong. I like Can't Beat Me, who 2 races back arguably could have won if he didn't get into some traffic in the stretch. And then last time out, he ran in the fog, and who the heck knows what happened. He kind of got lost in that race. He doesn't have much speed, but I don't trust the speeds in this race, to be honest, save the 2. I don't like the 1, I don't like the 5. So I'll give him a chance off the claim for Jamie Bagg. This is a horse, I know he's had his share of chances, but I thought his race 2 back was good enough to win this race. And if he didn't have some trouble, he might have won with outside post. Maybe he can get a clean trip today. So I'll take a shot with Can't Beat Me. I didn't love him. Like you said, listen, I'm not thrilled with anybody here, but I thought he was better than a lot of opportunities. I think the 2 Jet Speed he picked is the horse to beat. And I put him second, but I'd rather take this horse at a much better price. Race number 7, I thought was an interesting race, and we'll start out and show Oh Trouble, was a horse that you have on top, and you can talk about him. You picked him.
Yeah, he just, he kind of makes his last couple of starts, especially. He's kind of refound some form that he had last year. That one race in particular at the end of the year at Aqueduct here in October. He's just been in good form for the last 5 months, and saved the defeat to Lost in Rome. He's a neck away from being 4 in a row. Last time I thought he got a really good ride from Jose Gomez and saved some ground, hit a hole approaching the far turn, and got the job done. With again in a race where this is another. I think it's a suspect pace. I don't think this far has to be far off it. I think, in fact, if he wants, he can be in front. Super Garner, who gets a rider change to Andre Warrior, it's not Wesley
Well,
Ho.
how can Gilbert Garner is going to be in front? He'll be
He's
sitting
supposed
second.
to. Well, he's supposed to be in front, but these horses come in from out of town, and I mean, the worst case scenario is Jose Gomez in No Trouble is sitting second to this horse, and
Well, no.
probably not
No,
the
the
worst
worst case scenario is he stumbles at the start and throws the rider. You think he's likely to be sitting no worse than second. I
Yeah.
would put it a different way. The worst case scenario for me is that he actually wins, because I think he has no chance in here.
You didn't like him last time either, and he just tripped out. And this is what he's in the form now where
Okay, he beat Alarm Clock the filly and Durkin's Call.
He beat a bad
and
bunch of
Cash
horses.
Now, and now he's running against 235, Risk Profile, Glory Road. We disagree. It's fine. Doesn't make me right and you're wrong. I think O'Trouble is all dressed up with nowhere to go. I think people are going to bet him off these wins, and I don't like him. And I don't particularly like Glory Road either. I have him fourth, you have him third. We'll show his last race. He was opportunistic. It was a very, very contested pace that absolutely fell apart on a muddy track. Now, Glory Road does have good races, but as you pointed out, it's not clear how strong this pace is going to be today, and I think that's going to hurt a horse that has absolutely no speed whatsoever.
Yeah, he got help on the front end last time. This is a barn that there's some randomness to this barn. This horse he got help, and this horse flew home last time. This horse and he's had races in the past that they haven't been.
Flew home. He got a pace to collapse.
He got a pace that collapsed. He's probably not going to get that again. I would like to see him do it again. He likes it here at Aqueduct. He's 3 for 5 here in his career at Aqueduct. He's going to have to do that. He's going to have to show me that again. I thought this was a little bit of a 2-horse race. Okay. I thought this was 2s and 3s. Okay. Now, the 2 favorites. Well, David has Glory Road.
Anyway, I'm gonna talk about the horse I picked, 235. Who I just think makes a lot of sense cutting back. I don't think he ran badly against better horses last time. He's going 7 today, so the cut back really works for him. I thought he's kept reasonable for him, and I just think he's a super logical horse. I considered putting Risk Profile on top because he does have races fast enough to compete. I'm definitely going to use him. He comes out of that mile race that had no pace. Those were tougher horses. I'll give him a little bit of a pass for that. His race 2 back gives him a chance to win. I'm 2s and 4s. I'm against O'Trouble and Glory Road. We'll see how it works out in race number 7. Race number 8. So race number 8 is the return of Stone Creator. And I'm not sure what to do with Stone Creator. You've got him on top. I've got him third. I went all the way back to his lone win in his debut. This is a horse that's been somewhat opportunistic during his career.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of hers. She got the job done, debut, and then ran a couple of behind Yokuz. I never thought that distance was going to be her friend. And then obviously something went wrong last time because she disappeared.
Well, wait a second. The mile race, the second career starts the fastest figure she ever
The
ran.
fastest figure she ever. I mean, was she tailing off because she needed a break, or was she tailing off because something was wrong?
Well, wait a second. She was on a gold rail in this race. That's one of my problems. So she's dressed up in her debut. But she was also against a gold rail last time, and she was outside. So yes, something may have gone wrong, but she was also against the track that day.
Right, but she's gone for 9 months.
Yeah, something may have gone wrong, but she was against the track that day. She did have an excuse, and I think it's important that we sit here. But she lost at 3 to 5, 2 races back, and you can say Miles is not her friend. I don't know. I didn't think she ran well in that race. And Yokuz has turned out to be the fraud that she kind of appeared to be in those races. And yes, Yokuz got everything her own way in those races, but so does Stone Creator. I'm not saying she can't win here. She's okay, but I don't know, man. I'm not convinced on her.
Carbon's not the hardiest of fillies.
We'll get to her.
You know,
we'll get to her. We're not.
I mean, this filly at the very least hasn't been around for a while.
Because I think she'll be favored over Carbon. I don't agree with David.
I think it's a coin flip.
Maybe,
David has
maybe.
a coin flip, right?
Maybe. Yeah, no, maybe. But I think she'll be favored. I think people will see the stake races. They'll assume something went wrong last time. And listen, she won her first start. And I'm not going to be surprised if she wins. I don't know. I'm just not sold on her. I just don't think she's shown. She's never done anything against just sort of a good trip at a short price. And she's failed more often than not. And that bothers me. But she can win. But she's taken a lot of money in her races. As far as Carbon.
And they've all failed more often than not.
Right, yeah, but no, but she's been a short price in her races.
Yeah, she was favored in our last 2.
Anthony, she's been a short price
Right,
in 5.
But 2 times she ran into walls.
I'm going to finish what I was trying to say. She's been a short price every time she's run. I didn't say she's been the favorite every time.
No, I know you didn't. But Yokuz was 3 to 5.
I don't know that you know that because you corrected me when I was accurate.
Yokuz was 3 to 5 the 2 times she beat her.
I don't care. She's lost as a short price in 4 straight races. That's a fact.
And Carbon's been 3 to 2, 8 to 5, and 2 to 1.
I don't understand. You corrected me when I said she's been a short price and she's lost. That's all. We'll move on. As far as Carbon, yes, there's no question. She keeps running second. I don't disagree. It's a bit of a problem. But in doing so, I think she's run well. But the thing about her is, see, I thought she'd be a slightly better price because, and we'll show a race where she ran second and Shadalama ran third. And the reason I wanted to show this was that Shadalama actually ran the best race of everybody in here, because this was an inexperienced ride by a 10-pound bug rider who decided to go 50 wide around the track, while Carbon is splitting horses and getting a good trip, and the winner's getting an even better trip, and she went out in the parking lot. And Shadalama should have won this race. She ran well.
Shadalama should have won this race.
Now, I know she's Shadalama, but she's going to be a big price in here, and I'm going to use her. And I thought about putting her on top, and maybe I should have. On the other hand, Carbon has a lighter load. Shadalama runs.
She ran an awful lot.
So many times.
And she runs in her races. The 2 races that she's been competitive, Weyes has had her right on top of these paces, and she's done an awful lot of dirty work. The one time she didn't, Jackie almost got her home going 6.5, 2 starts back. She just ran out of some real estate.
As far as Carbon,
I don't know what to do with her.
I think Carbon, a lot of people are going to not be excited because of the last race, and that's why I think she'll be second choice. Well, she was down the rail an awful lot in that race, and I think there's a very good chance the rail was dead that day. So I believe she was badly compromised. And the speed was able to hold on in there, and I think she was down in the absolute worst part of the track. So I can make an excuse for her in there. I don't love her. I'm going to use 7s and 4s here, and I'm going to let the one beat me off the layoff. Listen, I hope she wins for Roddy. I always like to see Roddy do well, especially with a horse. They're almost all homebreds at this point. Pretty much everything he runs is homebred. I just feel like Stone Creator is a horse that has failed too often for me to take her at a short price off the layoff. But I'm not going to be surprised when she... And listen, by the way, if it turns out Inside Speed is good, then I'm, through the first 4 races, playing a pick of 5, I'm not going to leave her out. But on a fair track, I don't really want her.
I thought this Juliana's Rose was a little interesting. I
She
know her
is.
figure 2 start back was her biggest one, but she's another one. I don't know how far she wants to go. I think the cutback in distance, she ran up against Cupid's Heart.
Well, wait a second.
And Funny How going short.
The best race she ever ran was at a mile, so we know how far she wants to go. A mile is far.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to go that far, despite the fig.
But she does. In fact, her second best figure is at a mile.
And I don't think she wants to go that far, despite the fig. So
okay.
I think cutting.
So you don't. I know you don't believe in speed figures. You like slow horses.
It's not that I don't believe in them. I don't think she'll get. I don't think she's going to get the job done.
I think the point is that she's not hurt by going 7 furlongs. It's not that she's going to be better at 7.
Her 2 sprint races, she ran against horses that are exponentially better than what she's facing here.
She runs her buyer figure 2 back. She's going to be tough in here. She's not going to have a problem at 7 furlongs.
I think she
it's
can
fine
get
for
lost.
her. You don't need to make up the mile
I think she can
thing.
get lost in the shuffle on the tote board. David has her 3-1 as the 3rd choice. I think she might be a point higher than that. I'm going to use her in the pick 4 and the pick 5.
I don't know what price she'll be, but she's certainly not impossible. Race number 9. This one, none of the major players got scratched, but it did scratch down to 9.
I don't know. I thought 2 Chuckles had a little chance today.
Okay, I didn't. Sorry. Who Me will show finished second, and Who Me is the only extra horse in this race. When this race was originally drawn and we canceled, Who Me came back. Now Who Me ran horribly off the claim, but against much better horses last time. But I do think you have to be worried a little bit. But Who Me's probably fine in here. October Bliss, I just preferred. We'll show some Linda Rice stats off the claim. She's very good with maidens off the claim. I'll show it. I've got her on top. No great shake. She's probably the favorite.
She'll probably win. She's 8-5 on a morning line. She'll probably win. I just took the Morley for fresh gelding against him. But
What horse is that?
the 9, Empire Ridge.
But she didn't do any running in this race.
Yeah, first time gelding. First time Lasix. That was it. I just didn't want to take the favorite. I thought it was 3s and 9s, maybe a little late. But
I think interesting horse to me is the 5. You've got a significant rider change to a trainer change to Mike Maselli. I know he hasn't been doing as much winning as he'd done in past times, but this is a real trainer move up. And listen, this horse didn't run well, but in this field, the improvement isn't going to have to be that extreme.
No.
Those are Linda's numbers in October Bliss. I'm going to use 3s and 5s in this race for the most part.
So shipped down to Tampa and came back.
Yeah, it was a clever move. Listen, those boys at Toscanovas are lawnmowers. You get that officer, boys at
70-1.
Toscanova.
So it's never against state breds either in Finger Lakes. It's all open company races.
So shipped down to Tampa. Did they not know we were running here this winter?
Is that remarkable? There was
going to be turf racing in April.
Could you imagine shipping to Tampa to be 70-1?
I tell you what, I wouldn't be upset if I had to be at Tampa that day and she was 70-1.
The van ride now, by the way, is like 1,200. How about that? You ship for 2,400.
Well, she was probably
70-1.
a bunch of horses.
Well, I get
Maybe
that.
they rode her
Andy,
down.
but
I don't know.
No,
Him down.
They can't do that anymore.
Him down anymore. Anyway, we're done. We're done.
Matter of bets.
I will be doing prattles during the day. Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member of Naira Bets.
You never rode one down in Florida, Andy?
Oh yeah, I used to go in this. When I used to do the cattle drives in my days,
We should do a city slick.
Did you know that my brother was a cowboy?
Come on.
My brother went to a college called Deep Springs, which some people might have heard of.
Where's that?
It's in Death Valley, and
Okay.
it's a really interesting place. You should look it up. It's a 2-year school.
What's it called again?
Deep Springs. Deep
Deeps?
Springs.
Okay,
It's a
Deep-
fascinating
Deep
place.
Spr-
There are a lot of articles about it. A lot of articles. You
Okay.
Google it, you find a lot of
Okay.
interesting stuff about it. And it's a ranch in Death Valley.
Okay.
And they take classes and they run the ranch.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have some pictures of my brother, the cowboy. He's not really around that often, but if he's ever around, you could talk to him about it.
I will. I'll try.
He's now in Africa. He's now a drummer. If you're interested, my brother plays music, by the way. Yeah. No, he was
That's
a
cool.
cowboy. Yeah, he was sort of a cowboy. I mean, to an extent. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting school, which I'm sure some people have heard of. Anyway, Naira Bets match 200. We'll match for $200 your initial deposit. Middle pick 4 starts in race number 3. And 10 times points. Well, you guys couldn't wait to get that Dubai Racing Carnival. I know Anthony's excited. You're flying over. Actually, I think he's leaving. Anthony's going right over to JFK to get over to Dubai. He hates to miss. You got to get over for 1 or 2 of them. You got to get the trips down for the big race. That's just a little over 6 weeks away. And the Belmont Stakes.
7 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Apparently, it's also known to everybody as the test of the champion. I call it the Belmont Stakes. And I think you do too. I think we're guys that stick to the meat and potatoes.
I'll call it
of
the test of the champion. I'll when you're a esteemed blogger like myself, you gotta
On
mix it
that
up a
note,
little bit every now
my
and then.
sore shoulder. You see, my head's a little skew. I'm falling apart here. Anyway, I haven't slept in about a week. We are done, but I'll be around, and I'm hoping Maggie's here, so she'll be helping out as well. And Chris Griffin up next. I always catch myself. I don't know
We
why.
gotta get you a V8
I
today.
always want to say Chris Lincoln. I don't know why I haven't seen Chris Lincoln in 30 years.
It's been a while.
And I see Chris all the time. Chris Griffin up next, a reprise of the Scratches and Changes. Have a great day.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. Start of another week of racing at the Big A. The track is fast. Here are today's scratches and changes. Race 1 is the start of the early pick 5. Rider change on the 2. Make it Manny Franco. The corrected weight will be 115, but the number 2 will be famous is +3. So rider change to the weight 115 +3. Race 2, start of the early pick 4. Scratch the 1 X-Top. Scratch the 3 Debo. Scratch the 1 and the 3 in race 2.